Hello everyone, welcome to my channel nikitinaknits. My name is Evgeniya and in this video I would love to share about my winter knitting plans. I already did the video about my autumn knitting plans in September, so a few projects are going to be traveling into my winter knitting plans, but of course I'm so excited about my new projects. I also have the yarn for all of the projects that I will be showcasing, and also I even have a few swatches for the future projects. One little note before I begin, these winter knitting plans is the concentration of many projects I'm thinking to complete before autumn of 2026. So I'm skipping spring knitting plans video, and I don't really knit a lot in summer with plant-based fiber. I keep knitting with wool, every single season is like that, and so that's why you will see a lot of projects and patterns in these winter knitting plans. So grab your knitting, grab your favorite drink, in my case is some Indian chai latte today, and let's dive together into my winter knitting plans. First one is the cardigan for my mother. It is Teddy Dear Cardigan Lite by Caidree. I've never knitted anything from Caidree and I'm excited to explore because she's quite a popular designer. This is a very lightweight, almost transparent cardigan because it's knitted with only one strand of Cardiff Brush Light, which is a cashmere on silk, and I think it's a pattern that is perfect for knitting with mohair as well because the idea is the same. You can see the drape and how it's going to look in the end. It's very similar to brushed cashmere on silk, so I decided to knit it with two strands of mohair, which is Lano Gatto mohair. I only was choosing the yarn by the color. My mother is quite complicated with colors. She has red hair and she's also very picky about colors. That's why I'm like that. Now you know where it all comes from, right? So what I was doing, I was just creating like a mood board with different shades of blue and different shades of this mint or Tiffany color. So it is very true interesting Tiffany color. In your screen, it appears just a little bit more blue than it is in real life. And in combination with her red hair, is going to look so gorgeous. So this mohair is not as soft as most of the mohairs I'm working with. And as I said, I didn't have much choice to choose from because we were mainly caring about the color. But since this is a cardigan, a v-neck cardigan, there's going to be no problem to wear it, even if it's just a little bit prickly. But sometimes it's good that it's a little bit prickly because it's a bit more durable than, let's say, very gentle, very soft mohair. And for the pattern itself, I think it's very simple, very beautiful and feminine at the same time. My mother wanted balloon sleeves, and this cardigan does have slightly balloonish sleeves that are going to still create that look of balloon sleeves, but not going to, you know, clean the table with your sleeve. Also, I like very thick and very dense bottom band, and that is probably double knit bottom band. I really like this combination. I think she's going to be quite happy with this one. Next one is traveling all the way from my winter 2024 plans into this video of 2025. It is the Blossom Vest by Knits Per Mom. This vest lives in my heart for the whole year since I planned it, and I will be honest with you, I'm afraid of color work. I've never done any project with color work, and this project is sticked, so meaning you have to cut through the fabric, which really scares me. Not the sticking part itself, but like the whole possibility of failure for this project, because I do love the vest so much. I think it's so beautiful. Color work motif doesn't look so generic, it looks very interesting. It kind of blends with different types of motifs within itself, and I think it's quite unique project. I've never seen a vest or a sweater that would excite me so much. So I'm going to knit it with original yarn recommended by designer and even with original color. So this is Boucle Lane brand. It is French brand, and they actually sent me this yarn to create this vest, so I didn't pay for it myself. And it's very interesting blends of fiber. I'm going to put them on the screen because it's hard for me to pronounce. And what I like about it is that first of all, it's extremely lightweight. So each hank contains of 100 grams and you have 400 meters, so it's very lightweight. It looks quite huge. Second, I think it blends perfectly into color work due to the structure is very plush and fluffy. And one more fact is that it feels very rustic in the hands, but it doesn't feel too dry, like in comparison to some other yarns for color work that feel very dry, or any sort of lamb's wool. I hope you know what I mean by that. I think it's a very nice brand. They care about the animals. They do everything with joy and soul. They even send me a letter, and I think they send letters to all of their customers with handwritten letter and wishes for the success of your project. It was really nice. And knowing that is also completely produced in France, which is quite next to me because I live now in Spain, it's very nice nice. The cardigan is knit bottom up. You stick through the body. I don't remember if you stick through the armholes or not, or you need flat the upper panels. And also at the top you have some shaping for the better fit of the whole vest. And there's so many beautiful versions, like the blue with cream color. This is also Tiffany color with slightly melted water, like melted ice water. Very beautiful color. I think that's true what you're seeing on the screen right now. Very beautiful glacier color. This combination is beautiful. Also, I think I saw red with cream. So many combinations. So I'm so excited for this project. The next one is Saba Pullover by Christina Körber-Reith. I hope I pronounce it correctly because it's a German name and I had a hard time pronouncing it. So what I wanted to knit is the Cumulus blouse V-neck for myself from PetiteKnit, but I already knitted two Cumulus blouses for myself and for my mother. One is that you see right now, it is O-neck version, and the second is also O-neck version that I knitted for her. And this time I wanted light also blouse for myself with V shaping, but I didn't want it to knit from PetiteKnit. First of all, because I'm already getting a bit bored of the same in the same blouse. Second, I wanted a bit more interesting, better shaping, not just like raglan, completely symmetrical. While these projects take place, and I love them because they're completely mindless, and you can even use them as stress relief projects because you don't need to think at all. I still wanted something a bit more interesting, so I found this pullover. I took so much time, you know, to choose the project. I was scrolling so much through Ravelry, and I was searching for different constructions. And oh my god, how much surprised I was to find out how many beautiful designers out there that are not popular. Mostly they're Germans, but a lot of them are from Poland or from USA, actually from Canada, like from entire world, and they create such interesting, intricate, complicated constructions. And they do have certain community, people are knitting from them, there are many projects, but in my Instagram and YouTube algorithm, I've never seen them before, and it's because they were not in the range of my reach. So this discovery changed my knitting approach completely. Now I'm not really buying the view from Instagram or stylish pictures. I only care even more now about the construction itself, seeing little perfections or imperfections in the finished works on Ravelry, and then I decide if I want to knit this. So I will need to add my own imagination on how the project is going to look. So I'm not buying the image of it also in the stylish way, but I'm creating my own. So this pullover is exactly the case. I'm not going to do the bottom with cables because I just want a plain minimalistic blouse, and the sleeves I want to make a bit more wide than in the pattern and then fold them over and attach them somehow so they keep their shape. A few words why this specific pattern. Well, first of all, it does remind me of the Cumulus v-neck, but the v-neck is a bit more shallow. I would like a bit more deep v-neck, maybe like that. So I would maybe change the increase rate for the v-neck, maybe just 1 or 2 stitches of difference. That will increase the depth. Also, I like the construction. It is knit tom down, completely seamless, and there's many different shapings going on. Like here is very beautiful increase rate for the shoulders, then there's armhole shaping, and overall it looks really beautiful. And overall I like the amount of positive ease and the width of the sleeves and the body. So what yarn I'm going to be knitting with? It is a new yarn actually from 2025, was recently released. It is Gepard Cashmere Cumulus, 100% cashmere. As you can see, there is a very dark strand to which a lot of cashmere fluff is attached. So no silk, nothing, no nylon. It is 100% pure cashmere. The colorway is 714. It is true blue jean color, like very light jean color. And oh my god, I already see how it's going to suit me so beautifully. I love this color. Very, very nice. And now I want to make a little announcement. I'm preparing a very cool, interesting video for you that I started to plan in summer. Imagine that, how much planning and thought is going to be put in that video. So right now I'm in the process of creating a video with the new yarns of 2025 with the swatches. So I contacted the companies asking for a swatch or for a ball of yarn if they would like to appear in the video. And I chose only the yarns that I was excited about. So not, of course, all of the yarns of 2025, that would be madness, but something I was excited about and I wanted to try. So I'm right now knitting so many swatches every single day, new yarn. I'm so excited, and Cashmere Cumulus from Gepard is one of them. So I will show you the swatch now here because we're speaking about the project. So this swatch is on 3.25 millimeter needles. And the recommended needle size is interesting, between 3 and 6 millimeter needles. So I wanted to, of course, achieve the gauge, which is 22 stitches per 10 centimeters. And I was able to do this before washing with 3.25 millimeter needles. A bit tricky to knit because I think this yarn is best on thicker needles, like the traditional Cumulus blouse from PetiteKnit would be perfect because you knit on 4 or 4.5 millimeter, and it would be a bit better. But since I was going for this project, I need to meet the gauge, and I like this dense fabric. I'm just a little bit concerned if it's going to felt in the future much, so I will have to be very careful with this project. I think it's going to take a long time to create, and I'm quite interested how this blouse is going to end up for this yarn, which is still a bit of a surprise for me, but I just imagine, you know, this gorgeous fluff. Oh my god, it's going to be so good and quite warm because it's cashmere. So next one is the knit for my husband, and it is going to be also with a new yarn from 2026. It is a Sadness Garn Atlas. So this is 70% Norwegian lamb's wool. I guess is little sheep up to 6 months that was shorn. Their wool is a bit softer, and 30% merino wool. I really wanted to try this yarn since I first saw it because I did knit with Sunday from Sadness Garn and Tint per Ghent from them. And I imagine this is what they did, something in the middle. So not as rough as per Ghent and not as soft and bouncy as Sunday. So I was really curious how this texture would feel in my hands. I want to reflect on all of the feelings and tactile experiences in this new video. If you want to watch that video that is coming, you can subscribe to my channel and enjoy watching because it's going to take so much time of me explaining. But overall, I'm extremely happy with this yarn, at least in the ball how it feels. It's quite lightweight and it's very warm and it's very thick. I will have to exchange this color because this is quite a dark, it's PetiteKnit's colorway, Night Sky it is called, and my husband didn't like the color, as well as me. In the picture it was just a bit more blue, but in real life it's like black with blue undertone, I would say. So I already contacted the shop for the exchange. I'll have to pay the return. I think they're based in Belgium or Netherlands, but that's completely worth it because it's important that he likes the color, and me as well. Like knitting with black yarn almost is quite complicated. And I'm going to pair it with alpaca lace from Pasquale. And so good that I have the book from Pasquale with color cards, so I could match the Sadness Garn Atlas to Pasquale alpaca lace and see if it's going to match. So I really like the result, and even with the new colorway that I'm ordering, is going to match perfectly. I already ordered alpaca lace from Pasquale, it is on the way. And if you ask me why you just didn't go with alpaca feuilletrap from Sadness Garn that has exactly same colorway to match with the blue color, I will tell you my excuses. So I already knitted with Sadness Garn alpaca feuilletrap. I knitted a whole hoodie for my husband. All of the details about this gorgeous project in podcast number 8 on my channel. I'll put the link in the description box. And that alpaca is not baby alpaca, it is adult alpaca, and while it's soft, it is still a bit prickly to the neck. And because of the project I chose, I will speak just in a while, I needed the alpaca to be soft and not irritate the neck. So I decided to try baby alpaca from Pasquale, and also I like to try new stuff constantly, and I was really curious how soft and how silky it is, Pasquale alpaca. So I actually bought alpaca lace with my own money, but I collaborate with this brand, and if you buy anything from Pasquale through my link, you get 10% discount automatically applied to everything on their website. So check the link in the description as well if you want anything from this wonderful brand. So the project that I'm going to knit, let me just check the name because I forgot. It is Haze Sweater by the Knit Pearl Girl. It is a new design from December of 2025, and it is a top-down raglan that actually reminds me a lot of Monday Sweater by PetiteKnit, extremely popular. And what I want to do with this design is zipper sweater, the same exact sweater look, and that PetiteKnit has the zipper sweater for men. So what I did is I showed my husband a picture of zipper sweater from PetiteKnit. He really loved it, both blue and brown version, and he said, yes, I like it, I want it, I like the positive ease and everything, but there's quite a few imperfections in zipper sweater that I don't really like. I think a lot of people are going to hate me for this, but it's true. And I said to myself, I'm going to find a pattern that I will be satisfied with technically, and I will do the zipper. So why these two patterns are different from, let's say, zipper sweater, you may ask? Well, first of all, the gauge is 17 stitches instead of 15. And second, in the zipper sweater, you just have short rows back and forth for the neck, and then you do completely symmetrical raglan with a very low armhole. comfortable. So Hayes sweater is even more nice for my choice because it has both versions, male and female, with different rates of increases. And as mentioned in the description, there is no symmetrical increase rates. They're a bit different, if I understood correctly, and that creates a way better fit. So it looks, even in the picture as it hangs on the hanger and also dressed on the men, I really like how it sits. So the next one is Kruglik Jumper from Olena Sitalkina, my favorite ever designer in the whole knitting world. I'm just such a huge fan of hers. If you watch my videos, you always see me just dying in emotions when I speak about her. She's just such a master. If you have a chance, check her out. She releases patterns in English and in Ukrainian and in Russian, and you can only purchase patterns from her website, but she has very good Instagram, and you can just click hashtags and see a lot of finished works of the project that you want to knit. So I will be knitting her Kruglik Jumper. I already bought the pattern, and I bought actually two versions, male and female. So Kruglik Jumper is a contiguous shoulder construction that is knit top down, that is extremely thoughtful. I really like that she shares a lot of process on her Instagram, all of the complications she is meeting, all of the ideas she has about the pattern, how it ends up, many different pictures. Like, she's very, very good at what she's doing. She's a true master. And I love contiguous shoulder construction. Is literally when you increase for the shoulders, then you go down the armhole, everything completely seamless, top down. But her main feature is that she uses quite thin needles. Her gauge is usually maximum 23 stitches or less per 10 centimeters. I also like thin needles, so we match in this perspective. And we're both also very picky about the fit. So I was looking for the perfect pattern for this gorgeous cashmere. It is Pasquale Cashmere 628. I already spoke so much about this cashmere and the company itself in my knitting vlog. Check that video out if you haven't. There's a lot of works in progress. There is my finished works as well. So this cashmere is extremely special to me. It is so soft. It is so interesting. And I was thinking, what is the perfect and timeless project for this? So that in 5 years, if it's still alive and holds up well, I can pick this project up and wear, even if my taste has changed. So Kruglik Pullover was perfect for this, and I'm so excited to knit it. And I already have a swatch actually that gave me 27 stitches per 10 centimeters. That's before washing. So beautiful texture. You can never really see it on camera. You need to touch it, how soft it is. It is so silky and feels a bit sturdy also at the same time. Like, it's very fluffy, but sturdy. I don't know. Very beautiful. So by the way, the colorway is lavender, color 80, and the swatch is probably going to grow a little bit after the blocking, maybe 25 stitches, 26, and that fits the pattern very perfectly. And that is going to be my Christmas cast on. I just can't wait to knit with this. It's going to be a slow project. I'm going to be really enjoying it, and if it's ready by May, it's fine because I really want to take everything from every single stitch. So more knits for other people that I love. So I knit for one of my best friends, Julia. She lives in USA with her husband. She's from Ukraine and she immigrated to the US, and we didn't see each other for 9 years. 8 to 10 years, and suddenly she tells me that she's coming to Bulgaria to see her parents. And when I was thinking what I can knit for her, I couldn't stop thinking of blue mohair feminine blouse. So this is the mohair that I chose, Rowan Kid Silk Mohair. Traditional meterage, 210 meters per 25 grams, and 70% kid silk mohair and 30% silk. And what I'm going to be knitting with this is the Cumulus blouse v-neck for her from PetiteKnit, but with some modifications. So I want to do some short rows at the back raglan lines, maybe do a little bit of a compound raglan instead of the straight. So I want to experiment a little bit with my skills of modifying the pattern. So besides that, I'm not going to do any modifications. I really like Cumulus blouse v-neck. I think it's very wearable, very beautiful and feminine at the same time. And she lives in Miami, which is quite hot, but in winter time when it's just a little bit chilly, it could be very good layering piece. And especially with a deep v-neck, you can have a lot of ventilation. One more thing I want to knit and that I don't have the yarn yet, It is my socks that I released in November. It is my own free tutorial on YouTube, step by step, stitch by stitch, that you can actually knit if you want to. Just play the video and you will have the socks. And those socks are really beautiful. I knitted them with Rosaris Maya. And I want to repeat the same pattern with the same yarn for my mother. But Rosaris for Maya has a speckled version that looks so beautiful. And I'm just so curious to see how my socks are going to be looking in the speckled version. And this is going to be my fourth pair that I'm knitting from this design. And I'm not bored. Trust me, it's not, because it's my pattern. If I'm bored and if I'm not excited, I'm not going to do it. That's 100%. So I really like this design because it's a sport weight yarn. It knits up really fast and it's engaging, but it's really simple and quite mindless at the same time. And the whole appearance and practicality of the socks are just amazing. So I see no reason why my wonderful mother should not have these socks in her wardrobe. The next one is the plant that is traveling also from the previous video, from autumn knitting plants. 100% the same idea. I just will double it here. It is Nak Young yarn I'm wool 4, 100% merino wool, worsted weight. This is a Korean company that is also based in Europe, in Germany. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous purple lavender. Dusty lavender is called on the website. Such a beautiful, interesting purple. I'm complicated when it comes to plain purple colors, and this one is very interesting. And I went to knit Crumble Sweater from Suuko Knit, is also Korean designer, and it's a perfect match, the Korean yarn with the Korean designer. And that pattern is also worsted weight. I already swatched for it. The yarn meets perfectly in the gauge, and the pattern is very nice. What I like specifically about Korean designers is that they do quite wide neck, also in the cabled sweaters. This yarn is not sensitive at all. It is so, so good. I guess I could even wear a hat with this. It's so nice. And the texture is very interesting. It reminds me a bit of Sunday's Garden Double Sunday, but it's thicker and it's a bit more dry, the texture, but it's still really soft. It's also a bit more fuzzy. I think it's worth trying. It's really beautiful. So the crumble sweater is a traditional drop shoulder construction where you just do it top down. You knit first the back panel, then two front panels, then join everything, knit the body, and then knit the sleeves separately also from the top down. And there's also short rows for the sleeves, and that is very important to me. So among all of the patterns that mention similar honeycomb stitch and moss stitch and like this traditional look of fisherman's sweater, I like this one the most, and it's on my list since last year. And oh my god, I just want to knit it. When am I going to have the time for this? The next one I'm so excited about. I just can't stop smiling because this is going to be my first design that I'm going to create the PDF for. It is going to be a paid design because I already feel how much effort it's going to take. I don't want to say what it is, how it's going to be done, because I don't want to promise and not fulfill my promises, and that creates like additional tension for me. So I just prefer to keep it as a secret for a few more months, but I will share the yarn, of course. This is Cardiff Cashmere Large, the thick version. Very, very thick. Recommended needles are 5 to 5.5 millimeter needles. This is a 100% cashmere and it is undyed colorway. So it is pure cashmere, just like it comes from cashmere goats. And this is very thick yarn, so 56 meters per 25 grams. And oh my gosh, this is so soft. You know me, I'm so addicted to cashmere. It is my problem, it is my sickness. Anyways, this is undyed colorway, and I did knit a whole sweater in Cardiff Cashmere Classic in dyed colorway. It was a Bordeaux color, and this is way softer, and I really wanted to try the difference between dyed and undyed colorway, and this is so much softer and so much more fluffy. So this yarn was sent to me. I didn't pay for it for the purpose of creating a design with this, but of course I would like to make a cheaper alternative. I really like when the designer has a few samples of original yarn or recommended, and you can see different fabrics, how it ends up. And so of course you can always do it from Ravelry pages, but I still like when designers actually do that. And thanks to Cardiff Cashmere for sending me this yarn. I have 15 balls to create with, and I'm just looking forward for that. Super beautiful. The next plant also comes from the previous video from Autumn Knitting Plants. It is a cardigan that I want to knit with Angora from Fonty. This is 80% Angora and 20% merino wool. Angora yarn is completely ethically sourced with all of the certifications, and rabbits are also from France, and the yarn is completely produced in France. Fonty is quite a respected brand by me. It is a French brand, as I already said, and they create so many gorgeous yarns, and I want to try so much from them. I bought this yarn myself. It was my gift for my 30th birthday, and the colorway is 211. Is a very beautiful melange gray. And originally I wanted to make April cardigan by PetiteKnit with this, but then I realized that Angora yarn is going to really stretch a lot, and it really doesn't hold the shape. It's extremely smooth, extremely flowy. So I didn't really know if I wanted to hold this yarn single. So I decided to pair it with a cashmere on cone that has a bit of elastan in it. If you watch my knitting process, you know how huge of a cone I have. It's so heavy. I bought it when I just started knitting, and I didn't know that brushed cashmere on silk is extremely light. So I don't need like a kilogram of 700 grams, like, I don't know. I think this is enough for a lifetime. So it is 79% cashmere and 19% silk and 1% elastan or something. And together they gave me a very, very beautiful swatch, because a bit of elastan will hold the Angora from stretching and from losing the shape. And I washed the swatch. It was so soft, so good. And so it gave me 17 stitches. And I decided that with such fluffy, such expressive yarn, I would like a drop shoulder that would look a bit more relaxed and with a deeper V. So I don't know exactly which pattern I'm going to be knitting. I was thinking Pied Cardigan by Caidree, but the stitch gauge is 15 stitches per 10 centimeters there, so I don't know. And also I would like some short rows at the shoulder and a few more additions from the technical side to the pattern. So I was thinking, what can I do? And I don't know still. Maybe I will modify the zipper sweater from Moreca knit to just do the v-neck instead of increasing for the neck here. And the next project is also traveling from my previous video, but it's going to be with a different yarn. So it's going to be a Liv Blouse by Moreca knit without this bottom opening. I just don't like the opening, but I really like the top construction. It reminds me of blouse number 1 from My Favorite Things knitwear, but in my opinion the construction is a bit more interesting and sits a bit more nice on the shoulders, and the armhole is shaped a bit better, so I decided to choose that one. And I initially wanted to go with this combination. So the blend of alpaca, this is the first option I wanted to use, 70% baby alpaca and 30% silk. And I wanted to pair it with the silk mohair from Pasquale, which is a very thin mohair in the color 808 Sage. How optimistic I was to think that they will match. They're so different, and of course when I swatched, the first thing I saw is like, what am I doing? They're so different in shades, and this is so much lighter than this yarn, and the color of this alpaca is so interesting, is very interesting, dusty, warm emerald green. I really love that. And when I was deciding what to knit with Cardiff cashmere, when we were speaking with the Cardiff team, I thought Liv Blouse would be perfect in this combination. So let me show you. So it is Cardiff Cashmere Classic paired together with their new yarn, Cardiff Prime. So Cardiff Cashmere Classic, it is quite a known yarn already. It is a sport weight yarn, I would say, true sport weight, and it has 112 meters per 25 grams. And I already know this yarn. I know how it behaves. I love it so much. So this year they also released Prime, which is a very thin cashmere on silk. So 68% cashmere, 32% silk, 300 meters per 25 grams, which is a perfect mohair alternative. And if you're interested in all of the mohair alternatives, I have 2 videos on my channel for you to check out where I speak about so many different options, and this yarn is not there. This is such a soft, soft cashmere, and you get such a generous meterage. So for the whole project of Liv Blouse, I only had to ask for 4 balls, and that's going to be enough. I want to pair them too. They're both exactly the same colorway, and they will match so nicely. and I think I will achieve the gauge because the gauge is 20 stitches per 10 centimeters, and I just can't wait to see how the fabric is going to end up. In my video with new yarns of 2025, I will show Cardiff Prime and I will show how it combines with Classic. And what am I going to do with this beautiful alpaca that I actually bought at the alpaca farm where I went with my knitting friends Inna and Nastya? It was such a beautiful experience. I was thinking, and I even swatched to see which needles I enjoy using for it and how is the fabric. Oh my gosh, it is so soft. I swear to God, it is like cashmere. It is so soft. I'm very picky about alpaca, but this is out of this world. So the farm is called Alpacas de Tierruca, but there is one more brand in Spain that I bought from yarn that also probably buys yarn from this farm, and the brand is called Anandi. This is the yarn. So if you would like to purchase this yarn, I think from this brand is a bit more realistic because they're actually the brand instead of this one is just the farm. But I recognize the same colors and the same structure, and I'm sure that the farm sells the yarn to this brand or they collaborate somehow. So this is actually a gift for one of my knitting friends. So I swatched with this gorgeous alpaca and it gave me the fabric of 27 stitches per 10 centimeters. And maybe I will knit Darja Cardigan by Lamana. I already have the pattern kindly gifted by Lamana, and I have this idea in mind, but I love this cardigan so much that I'm still thinking if this is the right yarn for it. The cardigan is very feminine, very gentle. I spoke about this pattern in my September new knitting patterns on my channel. Check it out if you haven't. And I just need to probably start knitting and see how it ends up a bit. But it's 27 stitch gauge. The pattern calls exactly for that gauge, and imagine how slow it is. So I was knitting on 2.75 millimeter needles, and the cardigan is of course back and forth. But I think it could be such a gorgeous piece. Imagine this drapey cardigan with a v-neck in this green color. I love it so much. So what I did not show you, oh my god, the cardigan. I did not show you the cardigan. So I also want to knit Mio cardigan by Coco More Knitwear. I bought the pattern already, and that cardigan really caught my attention because it's very simple, very wearable, but still with some detail. And I specifically like the version where it's this neutral beige grayish color with good amount of positive ease. And the yarn that I already had in my stash, I didn't buy it. I'm really happy about it, is Easier Highland wool, which is 100% Peruvian Highland wool, 275 meters per 50 grams, quite a thin thread, and it is colorway sand. Very beautiful, looks almost undyed. I don't know if it's dyed or not, but it's a bit variegated grayish creamy color, very beautiful. It doesn't feel as prickly as Jensen or Twinny from Easier, but I wouldn't say it's like alpaca soft, right? So I'm thinking to pair it with tin silk mohair from Garn. I also had it in my stash, and this mohair is quite prickly to my skin, so I would never risk it to wear next to my neck or even on the body without any sort of layering. So I was thinking it's a perfect combination for the cardigan because I can always wear something underneath, even a long sleeve. And it's going to be really nice. So this mohair doesn't have only mohair and silk, it has some percentage of wool in it. Let me see how much. So 57% mohair, 28% silk, 15% wool. And I like it because it's probably more sturdy than regular mohair. I just have that feeling. Ideally, of course, I wouldn't like such a big contrast because it's going to create again melange effect. And again, maybe I'm just fantasizing and it's going to be looking bad in a swatch, but I do have a plan because I swatched with Highland with 2 strands and I could meet the gauge. So if I don't like the combination with 1 strand and 1 strand of this, I will do 2 strands of Highland, and if I like it, I will go with 1 strand of Highland and 1 strand of mohair. What I like about Highland wool is that first of all, it's very affordable. Second, is not so itchy or prickly to the skin. Third is a bit drapey, so it's in between, let's say, alpaca and sturdy wool. It is drapey, but not so explicitly drapey. So for this cardigan, I like the drape, and I like specifically when she tucked in the cardigan into her pants or skirt, whatever. It was looking really beautiful, and I'm not sure how comfortable it is to wear a cardigan tucked into your pants, probably not, but for the picture, it looked really beautiful. And for such oversized, nice raglan cardigan, it would look really nice. And I feel it's going to be very practical. I would like to knit socks that I mentioned in my autumn knitting plans of of 2024. So this pattern is in my mind for quite a long time. I want to knit Lane socks by DUCATHI. It is a German designer that creates such beautiful socks. I bought the pattern already, and since then I didn't have a chance to knit them yet. So I already showed this yarn before in my Barcelona Knits video, where I just came back from the festival. If you want to check it out, I was so excited. And this one is Ursa Major by Apmezga. Apmezga is the Lithuanian brand, and this is a sock base. It is 75% superwash merino wool, 20.5 microns, so soft, and 25% nylon. It is very thin, and it has very beautiful variegated red color. And you see there is this beautiful variegation, lighter, darker lines. And I wanted to make these romantic lacy Christmas socks with this yarn, but as you can see, Christmas is coming. The skein is still here on my shelf. Of course, I'm not reaching that. So Lane socks attracted me with minimalistic lace pattern, where it's not such explicit lace and it's not so boring. Very beautiful lace motif. And I also like the heel construction. I'm really interested how you knit that construction. Let me move on to my last plan, but it is a maybe plan. It is not 100% a plan. It's going to take me ages because I would like to knit Rebertsia Sweater from Olena Sitalkina, the Ukrainian designer that I mentioned today. She released Rebertsia Sweater for men. So she released one for women, and I spoke about the sweater in so much detail in my July knitting pattern roundup. Check that video out just for that sweater. In that video, I also spoke about proper Saba Pullover by I forgot the name of the designer, I'm sorry, but check that video only for these two patterns because I'm sure a lot of you will get inspired and probably would need it during winter season because they're quite warm. So now in December or beginning of January, she is releasing men's Rebertsia sweater that is also probably going to have the folded over neck. So the original idea of Rebertsia sweater is with this high neck, like a mock neck, and I don't really like that idea for men specifically. Even for myself, I was questioning if I'm going to need that tall neck. I still like it, but I still don't know if I prefer folded over short neck or high mock neck in that design. And with the men's version, for sure, only folded over neck. So the whole sweater is knit on tiny needles. I don't remember it's 2.75 or 3. I need to look up the instructions. And it is an all over contiguous shoulder ripped sweater. So one by one rip. And she has put so much thought into every single detail. The way she was doing increases, decreases, the way she was doing short rows. It is so well shaped with so many things taken into account. And as I already said, she's such a master that I want to knit such complicated designs that take so much time just to understand what was on her mind when she was creating this. How does she see the logic of putting this sweater on the human body? The yarn that has to be used for this project is very thin, light fingering weight, or even 2 lace weights held together. And the yarn should not hold the shape at all, because if it does hold the shape even a little bit, it's going to stitch in horribly. But if you want to have a drape and some positive ease, you should choose the yarn that doesn't hold the shape. The ideal situation is when you have 50% of wool and 50% of alpaca, because alpaca doesn't hold the shape at all, and it's going to add that drape and freedom to the garment. But also any sort of very smooth carded wool that doesn't hold shape. For example, Cardiff Cashmere Small, I actually have it here. Cardiff Cashmere Small is very thin thread. There you go. It is very drapey. It doesn't hold the shape at all, and it could be perfect for this design. I would go for Lamana Milano. Lamana Milano is 90% merino extra fine carded merino and 10% cashmere. The yarn is slightly spun, but I still feel it shouldn't hold the shape so much. So I would like to make a big swatch, maybe even 20 to 20 centimeters long and wide, because I really want to see how it's going to behave. So this yarn has 180 meters per 25 grams and recommended needle size between 2.5 and 3.5 millimeters. So one strand of Lamana Milano should work for the project. I just hope so. Well, that was a lot to cover. I'm honestly so shocked how much I am excited about knitting and how little time I have for actual knitting. I hope I could inspire you for certain projects, and please let me know if I did, which projects you would like to knit with which yarns. Maybe you have some really exciting projects that you can't wait to cast on. Share that with me because I really love to go through the comments and to read your discussions, and it actually actually inspires me to keep creating videos and to generate new ideas and get to know new interesting yarns that I also get to know from you. Thank you again very much for watching and for being here, and I'm hoping to see you soon in my next video.